how are you? My name is Pauline Gundidza from Mafriq, also fronting the band called Vanu. My musical journey in terms of the instrument that I'm now playing, it's something I grew up listening to. My father is a mbira player, although he played it for the love as a hobby. I don't think anyone in our family really has ever ventured into the arts. It's myself and my cousin, Pauline Gundidza, or Lady G2, who is a DJ and an MC in the UK. But in terms of kutoriza nekudididi, I'm the first mudzinzarese. So yeah, it was through my dad. And then I've always had that love for ethnicity. I went to my schools, I were mostly multiracial. So takatiza nevarungu, makaradi, ma-India, ma-China. We just had a mixed bag. And I think it's from there that I really started to want to express my cultural heritage more, because you had to stand your ground. With so many cultures and diversities around me, it had to mean something to be who I was. So even in terms of the activities I did at school, I did marimba, I did mbira, I did traditional dance, I was in the choirs and all of that stuff where we're creating ethnic music. We used to work a lot with Prince Edward School under Mr. Mano Mano. He's now like doing a lot of things globally with ethnomusicology, marimba and the like. So I'd say from Kuchkoro, Dopandaka had the interest here, ethnic instrumentation, and also the background from my dad. And then in the time that Mafriq split up, I had to find myself as like, who is Pauline? So when I went to music school, I had an option to pick out which instrument I wanted to major in, and mbira just came naturally. I love how I can write music from my mbira. I start to hear the mbira first in my mind, and then it's translated to the instrument, and then the lyrics come. But I've got quite a connection with it. And yeah, that's me and mbira. Because I didn't really know what I wanted to do until I was, I think, quite advanced in my years. But when I was in grade 3, we were at a school which, this is what I love sometimes about like my private schools. Panika nurturing kanoitwa gifts, whereby it's not just about academics and the like. So we were having our end of year or end of term exams, grade 3. And then we didn't have a curriculum year music, per se. But they always encouraged us to explore our talents and all that. So takanzishon, okay, when we don't have a music exam per se, but munu such a sumugodi, ngoro 2 lines there, and when I stood up and I sang, the reaction is what got me, because I was like, but it was shocking how even the teacher vakatozonyora comment, And so through school and all of that, ndakatotanga kuona kuti ndo kwangu uku, and I kept on doing the things that were musical. In as much as it came naturally to me, if I had then just ventured like career-wise, ndeda kuita law, I still want to do it. I'm still gonna do it. But ndeda kuita law, this comes from a background where I didn't have a very easy childhood. I witnessed and experienced a lot of injustice, especially gender-wise. I saw a lot in the Chikura. So I always had that intention. I want to be part of fighting these injustices. So music then overtook me, but I think this is why I find activism music, because it's the two things that I love the most that just came together, and I feel for me to then fulfill the dream yokuba like a human rights activist and an artist at the same time.
Wow. What's your most memorable experience music-wise?
Oh, well, no prizes for that one. It was 2004, Tripa HICC at the Zima Awards. And oh my God, Just thinking about it, you know, I'm just feeling lights and butterflies all at the same time. And this is the year when Mafriq won most promising artist as a group. And we took the Zima 2004 after Ndisho Chete had come out. Ishirira Kwesi. On radio, I think what Killer T did last year with Kananda Nyura. Kuti ku radio, tatiri pa number one. Ku TV, tatiri pa number one. All the charts, everywhere people were asked to vote. They were voting for us and for that song. And then we got to perform it live. We didn't know kuti tichapiwa award. Taitongo faro ticho tapuwa mukana yokudi kuperforma. I remember we did this performance ekutakaisa my disc. Like it was Motown, Hollywood, I don't know what to call it. Takesa my desk on the stage because the music video for Ndisho Chete even like a classroom setup. And I remember at some point, I think it was when I was singing my part, I had two guys Takura on their shoulders and I was sitting there and I was like, this is it, mama, I made it. So I think that was like my best moment to date. And then after we gave such an outstanding performance, we were backstage and feeling good about ourselves. It's okay, backstage. We're like, what? She can win the award. So I think that was just like the most, I've even got like some tears now. It was just such a special moment. And yeah, I'll never forget that.
And did music make money for you at the time when you and Mafriq were at the peak, like locking the streets, buzzing everywhere? Did you guys make money?
Definitely. For that time, Taito Mari, for our age, Taito Mari, for our generation, Taito Mari. I remember at that time there was issues in terms of currencies and the like. So there's a lot of burning of money and the like. And people used to come we used to do shows called Sports Diner. We did Urban Grooves Thursdays. And I remember at almost every show, like at the show in Engagement, it was fire. Pause. Pastage panenge pazaramari. And we actually now used to move with my duffel bags, like in my robbery. It was like some grand theft thing going on. And we'd have to miss a performance because and then we would gather all the money into the bags and then the performance could continue. And the money could badarwa per gate. So yeah, we did pretty good. In retrospect, I wish we had guidance of what to do in Mario, because a lot of it, well, I know there were some of us, because a lot of artists actually came from backgrounds that seated that stable. So some of us actually managed to put ourselves through school, in Mario. Yeah, we did invest somewhere, somehow, into our profession. But like now, knowing what I know now, and actually build quotation, it's not always that you're going to be on stage and the like. There's been times like COVID where I would now be like, for these, those lockdown shows and the like, my essential service providers. And I was like, we did not invest as well as we could have. So in retrospect, I mean, we did make money for our age. I actually managed to pay some of my fees. Not just me, a lot of us Taito badara. Sto bazira bereki kushibadara school fees zedu zekuchikoro. Nokutenga mbachka. Nishangu.
And fast forward 20 years later, you're still in the music industry.
Yeah.
And what do you think has kept you strong?
I think it's like what I mentioned earlier. Kutinda even had these two dreams. Kuti, at the moment, they kind of coexist. Whereby ndaida kuita law for the purpose of doing like human rights advocacy and activism mainly. I didn't really see myself as being the one arguing cases in court, unless defending the weak and the like. And then my voice and my music being, my God-given passion and talent. So I think what has kept me going is the marriage of those two. We have not... I think for those people maybe who thought to depend entirely on music, they might really have had my wake-up calls. Like I've mentioned, COVID was just dramatic for us artists. Takagara kumba kukanganwa, and we had no other skills. Before that, we had a whole era of piracy. Yokuti, if you were counting, you know, you were out of luck because a lot of people maximized on what we were supposed to benefit. So I think because of that activism side, I always had an alternative of what kept me going. And even when I wasn't in the mainstream, mimanzi, I was underground doing my campaigns. We've done campaigns on HIV/AIDS. I was under mentorship at Albert Nyati at the time. We toured Tishidi, and people didn't really even know Kutitichiriko, but I was still living off chipo changu shese kuti activism neku music. And then I think another thing that has kept us going, or kept me particularly going, is I feel, for me, it's, in as much as, yes, it's a gift, it's a talent, it's a passion, I think it's also a calling. So even when I didn't want, and there have been those times I was like, guys, you know. Even when I myself was not strong enough, there's a purpose to what I do, and it's always so. It's beautiful when God always reminds me, kutune purpose. So even if the money wasn't coming in, I'm not top billing, I'm not topping the charts, God gave me a sense of fulfillment in just knowing kuti I'm doing what God wants me to do. Which is, like I said from the beginning, I feel music, yes, but I would be more fulfilled touching people's lives, changing things that need to be changed, speaking for those without a voice, singing for those without a voice. And yeah, music, God puts certain opportunities in my way where it pulls me back in. And then once I'm like, oh no, so I think it's that calling in me that won't see me give up or say I'm switching industries or I'm switching lanes. God has put me here for a purpose. Like I'm saying though, maybe we could have foreseen, like time and that and then there's a time where economically, just for the whole nation, not just for us as artists, like, but for the whole nation, and we had nothing to fall back on. I think because in as much as we still had our talent, but accessing even things like studio time, shooting videos, so when people say that pera, it hurts, but because I know that I'm still very active, maybe be it off the mainstream. I did what's invested, but it actually motivates me. Thank you to everybody who says Ndapera. I go home and I'm like, but why are they saying Ndapera? Maybe I should post something of me singing, or it actually motivates me. I take the lemons and I just make lemonade, because Jiriko, the Sons of Time, a new generation, maybe we failed to bridge that gap between when we were at our prime and what's happening now. But Andy said the total blame on us as artists. Our industry was very, very ill-structured. I don't even know if anybody ever had a manager. You know what I mean? That's not my manager. So you had to figure everything out by yourself. So in the event that we did not maybe manage to live up to that continuous, productivity and whatever, I feel the industry could have done a lot for us. Anti-piracy, ataida kupusha ye. Takajigirwa mari vedu we pamwe ndosaka wangono akazopera. Takarirwa mari tikavarwa. We had no proper promoters. We didn't have a structure of management. We didn't have investorship. Kana ma medical aid vamwe vakarwara vakafa in our industry because there was none of that, even civil society support, or that, I don't know what the word is. Yekuti even utano wedu, our welfare was never taken care of. Kwankusina industry to speak of. So the fact that a lot of people have fallen, it's just maybe science of, action, results, repercussion, and whatever. But it's motivating when people say that to me. It's not right there, but it makes me actually be like, oh, I'll show you.
And now, before I move to your current music and stuff, there's a conversation around cover music.
Okay, this my copyrights, my cover, I think it's a conversation it's been building up over the years, because there's a time where Zimbabwe yakanga yakati sare, sorry to say, in terms of social media awareness, things to do with the monetization of social media and social and streaming platforms. So back then, ukato wakuti kwa pane vanhu vari kuimba song yako whatever, you'd be like, oh, I appreciate kwa, but now shane madollars mukati. So it's a completely different conversation. We've had a few altercations with artists who've gone and used our music without our consent and stuff like that. But we did not approach them pakuda kuto. You know, we try to sit down and say, okay, fine, how can we also benefit? Then there's ma franchises, nema groups or whatever, nema band. Vekutoti, it's their doskiri ravo, rikuimba masonge vamwe vanhu. Motora mari. And there's never any remembrance of the original people who made that music. And I know Zimura is trying to step in Ipapo and the National Arts Council, putting us on a clear picture. Then, the side where economics, we're all now entrepreneurs, we're all coming up with ways of surviving, which is great. And there are these bands, not to say that they do not have the capacity to do their own music, but it's a niche market. There's an audience, a very happy paying audience for that product. And I've never been to a Japraiser show or like show ya Ningi, for example. But if a cover band just hits one or two masong, that person will stand up and have a good time, and then it moves on to the next song and what, Chateau Famba. You know what I mean? For people in the audience and for Vanuaripa stage. So I think it really comes down to my bread and butter issues. It's sad for my families. The people, the artists akato shaya, sisipo kujimirira, but music yake iri kushandiswa. Then there are some artists who vachiripo and the music yake iri kushandiswa. So I think those artists vachiripo, it's a challenge if you ask me. Kuti, how can you let someone else sell your trade better than you? It's a challenge to say it's okay game muchiri kudiwa. Pamwe ndo legend wachiwa manga muchareva kuti some of in other countries nengo chitonzo legend. Pamwe ndo kutoona kuti so people are actually still appreciating my music vainzwa ichimbwa nevapanda ava whatever. It's a chance for me to come back. But for those maybe vatingati vakatisiya and their music is being performed, honor is one thing, and then there's the bread and butter issues. I think kujeka, there has to be something that goes back to the composers. There has to be. It mustn't be so stiff. We don't have to criminalize my cover artists. I see Mosha, but obviously there just has to be that consideration. For the artists here, I can invest time and money into creating that product. What is in it for them? And then for these artists who are serving a happy audience with receiving this and, gulping it up. And they've also got Murizavo. Being an artist is expensive, guys. Dressing up and shooting videos. So, but in the meantime, and it's also a survival tactic. I think a way to coexist. It's not the big deal. You're good. I think we need to just be considerate of each other, because and now, like I said, people need to eat. So, yeah.
And what are you working on currently? Do you have new music? Do you have new stuff?
Well, I'm on a lifetime campaign in substance abuse. This is from, from the time when I came out of my phase, the rehabilitator. And then it's another one of those things that I've recognized as part of purpose and calling. And then music-wise, I've been recording for a while. I feel like my social media presence has not been that strong, partly because I suffered a bit of trauma at some point in my life when, I think it was during my divorce and other personal issues, whereby the media really was not my friend. So I've shied away. And I realized there's a time when the whole social media trend started, I just resisted. Until lately where I'm like, Sarah, I've been trying to get brand ambassadorships and stuff, and my numbers just do not hold enough weight. Saka now ndakupusha manje. But musically, I've got music that I'm working on now. I've been doing an EP. Some of the songs, Dakama Buditsa, just to test the waters. And then there's other songs that are yet to come. And then ndakaita futhi a decision yekuti ndakuda kupinda more in the mainstream. So I'm actually on a round at the moment. I'm going to be working with some of these known producers and known brands and known names. Kuti ndipinde mu mainstream makabarirwa, like our name as Mafriq. We were always part of the commercial music, the mainstream music. Saka this niche market of mine kwandandamboenda ku activism kundomboti balance say with actually working with your known trusted brands vanema follower vakati one day ndo kwanza kubatira ipapo ndichitoro vakwe ba follower nchisa kwangu. And then we've got a studio. I'm a partner in a studio, it's Afrotonic Sound. This has really helped me now to start shaping my own sound and an identity. Part of why I also feel there's been a bit of a pullback on my releases, because the number shape shifter, 1 minute I'm doing traditional mbira, next minute I'm fusing with my piano, next minute I'm doing reggae, next minute I'm on the chill spot rhythm, and so on. Saka, for me, the more exposure and time I've had in studio, I've learned myself through the ability I can think out of the box, I can direct my own music, and also now because ndakuriza my own instrument, I can direct music yangu nitoza makods and shakati. So yeah, guys should be ready for my EP, which is coming out, and my album later on. The EP is more commercial. There's a lot of experiments and commercial music. But now when I want to release the album, I think it's now going to be more of my soul, bearing my soul. People might not understand who Pauline really is. There's Pauline, and then there's Pauline who's done collabos, Nana Maskiri, Nana Rocky, Nana XQ, Nanani. But who really is Pauline? I think this is what my album is supposed to really, assert. And I'm big on the message of the songs. I'm big on purpose. I'm big on serving my audience, not just to entertain, but also to pinda mu udzamu. People are depressed. People are suffering from mental health issues. I hope my music will be of healing. I hope my music will be revolutionary, changing things that need to change and saying the things that need to be said. Yeah.
Ndinoda kukutaurira sindashaya mazwi ndizvo chete zvandinoda kukutaurira sindashaya mazwi ndongotarisa richinyura rimwe zuva nchamudza chete ndongotarisa richinyura rimwe zuva nchamudza chete.